A healthy, happy baby vanishing from her own bedroom sounds unimaginable. Yet that's exactly what happened to Lisa Renee Irwin in Kansas City back in 2011. How could a nearly 1-year-old disappear without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a house full of confusion? From mysterious clues that seem to vanish overnight to years of investigations yielding little, this case has puzzled experts and haunted families alike. On the night of October 3, 2011, Lisa Renee Irwin was put to bed in her crib by her mother, Deborah Bradley, as the family prepared for the night. Lisa, who was born on November 11, 2011, was just 10 months old at the time of her disappearance. With bright blue eyes and blonde hair, and was described as being about 30 inches tall and weighing between 26 and 30 pounds. Her father, Jeremy Irwin, was an electrician and worked night shifts, often returning home in the early morning hours. On October 4th, around 4 a.m., he returned from work to find the front door of the house unlocked, the lights on, and a window slightly ajar. The sight of these unusual details immediately raised concern, and upon checking, he discovered that Lisa was missing from her crib. Following his discovery of an empty crib, Jeremy went to wake Deborah, who was asleep in another room. According to statements she later provided to investigators, she had checked on Lisa earlier that evening before going to bed, although the specific time she provided changed in later interviews, making precise timing a challenge for authorities. The couple immediately began searching the house for Lisa, and then contacted law enforcement. They also discovered that 3 of the family's cell phones were missing, though it was unclear how this connected to the disappearance. In response to the report, Kansas City police and federal agencies launched a widespread investigation into Lisa's disappearance. Early on, 2 witnesses came forward claiming they saw an unidentified man walking down the street with a baby in his arms during the night, prompting investigators to consider the possibility that someone had entered the home and taken Lisa. Law enforcement pursued these reports, but the leads did not result in any confirmed sightings or identification of the person seen, and the case quickly became mired in uncertainty as traditional avenues of investigation failed to produce definitive answers. As the investigation unfolded, one of the most perplexing developments involved the use of tracking dogs inside the family home. On or around October 19, 2011, authorities obtained a warrant to conduct an extensive search of the residence, including bringing in specifically trained cadaver dogs. According to court documents and news reports, the dogs indicated a positive alert in the bedroom near where Deborah and Jeremy slept, a finding that raised concern among investigators about the possibility that something had happened within the home. As a result of this alert, law enforcement seized multiple items from the residence, including a multicolored comforter, various pieces of children's clothing, a toy, and other items that were believed to potentially hold evidentiary value. Additionally, detectives reportedly examined the backyard and grounds around the home in an effort to uncover any physical clues that might point to Lisa's whereabouts. However, despite the attention these findings received at the time, investigators were unable to conclusively link them to any specific scenario that resolved the case. The cadaver dog alerts, while suggestive, did not lead to any formal determination of what transpired that night, and the items collected from the home did not provide the breakthrough that many hoped for. The initial optimism that emerged from these search efforts gradually faded as the investigation continued without a clear direction forward. In addition to the developments inside the home, law enforcement also conducted searches in other areas surrounding the family's residence, including wooded regions, abandoned structures, and even a nearby landfill. At one point, a backpack containing used diapers was reportedly found near a vacant house in the neighborhood, raising hopes that it might be connected to the case. But investigators later concluded the items may not have held any direct relevance. The Missouri National Guard and multiple police agencies were mobilized to comb through extensive areas in search of any sign of Lisa, enlisting the help of tracking dogs, helicopters, and volunteers in a comprehensive effort to leave no stone unturned. Meanwhile, as the official search efforts unfolded, attention turned to the circumstances surrounding Deborah's account in the night in question. In various interviews, she acknowledged that she had consumed alcoholic beverages that evening, and there were reports that her recollection of the events and the timeline of when she last saw Lisa had shifted over the course of the investigation. Law enforcement reportedly informed her that she had failed a polygraph test, a standard interrogative tool used in some investigations, though such results are generally not admissible evidence and are not definitive indicators of one's involvement in an incident. Deborah's statements and the changes in her reported timeline drew scrutiny from investigators and the public alike, with questions arising over what she may or may not remember from that evening. Despite the focus on these inconsistencies, authorities publicly stated that they did not have sufficient evidence to press charges against either parent or any other individual in connection with Lisa's disappearance. Police officials unequivocally noted that there were no confirmed suspects in the case and that the investigation remained active with leads still being explored. This position was reiterated by law enforcement representatives who clarified that despite speculation in media reports, the absence of arrests was due to the lack of conclusive evidence rather than a lack of investigative effort. In 2012, another unusual development came to light when the Irwins reported that Jeremy's debit card had been used on a website that offered services related to legal documents, including name changes and potentially false certificates. The charges were confirmed by media outlets and the couple's attorney, and while the purchase raised eyebrows given the context of the ongoing investigation, authorities did not announce any formal conclusions about its relevance to Lisa's case. Despite the intrigue surrounding this financial detail, it did not lead to a definitive breakthrough in locating Lisa or identifying a perpetrator. Over the years, the case has periodically resurfaced in media and public discourse, including features of documentaries and podcasts that revisit the detail of the disappearance, presenting various theories and keeping public attention on this tragic event. At one point in 2013, a report emerged that a young girl believed by some to be Lisa had been spotted in a camp in Greece, prompting international interest. But authorities quickly determined that the child was not Lisa, and that lead was dismissed. Although years have passed since the initial disappearance, law enforcement has reiterated that the investigation remains open and efforts to uncover reliable information continue. Today, the disappearance of Lisa Renee Irvin remains one of the most perplexing and heartbreaking unsolved cases involving a young child in recent American history. Despite extensive searches, numerous investigative efforts by both local and federal authorities, and ongoing public attention, the critical question of what happened to Lisa that October night continues to elude answers. Her parents, Deborah Bradley and Jeremy Irwin, persist in their hope that one day they will learn the truth, while investigators urge anyone with credible information to come forward and assist in the case. If you found this story important, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.